Hi, welcome to the show. Today I have on a guest that I think he's setting a record by being here for a third time. And I have him back because there's a lot going on in Yamhill-Carlton School District. And I have with me Charan Cline, the superintendent of Yamhill-Carlton Schools. Charan, thanks so much for being here with me again.
When you invited me on, you didn't tell me this was a record, so that's exciting. It's nice
You and Alec Baldwin are neck and neck for most comment on the show. Anyway, why I asked you here is because I've just been hearing great things about Yamhill-Carlton, and there's a lot of areas to talk about, and it's hard to know where to start. But let's start maybe with the high school. I hear a lot about the Career Academy. I hear a lot about the hands-on opportunities that kids are getting to become work-ready when they graduate. Would you fill us in a little bit on the details?
Well, first thing about the whole school district is we've worked really hard to pull in a good group of professionals. We have folks that are working hard for kids. They're developing good vision. And I just think from top to bottom, everybody that worked with our folks, from our cooks and our custodians to our principals, folks who work in the district office, everybody's on one mind of trying to do good stuff for kids. At the high school specifically, we've got a lot of different initiatives going on there. We've got good solid education happening in the classrooms in general. I'm really happy with the work they're doing. We've gone to an all proficiency-based system at all of our grade levels. And at the high school, it looks like, well, there's no D's there anymore, for instance. It's a different look to a school. We're using that system to help lower our graduation rate, and our dropout rate, not our graduation rate. We're trying to lower our dropout rate, and we're doing that through the idea of tracking when students are not earning their credits, coming back and helping them earn credits, and with proficiency-based education, students they have to work on perhaps, 8 or 9 or 10 proficiencies in a semester. And if they fail a single or two proficiencies, they don't have to redo the whole class. They can go back and redo those particular proficiencies and get their credits back.
So it makes it doable. It's not an impossible thing to overcome.
Right, that's the idea, is to create a system that kids learn, they're proving that they know how to do it, and they're also able to recover when they make mistakes. But anyway, talking about the hands-on stuff, the biggest part of that, I suppose, is our Career Academy. It's the part that it's really the showy part, if you will. It's capitalizing on the great work we've done in both our agriculture program, specifically our viticulture program, and our manufacturing program.
Viticulture program. They're making wine there.
Well, we're growing grapes.
Okay.
We're not making wine. We're growing
All
grapes.
Right, growing grapes.
No alcohol happening on the campus. Somebody wondering there. But the first vintage is done. It's in bottles. It actually some of those sold at an auction for the community members were very kind, and they bought them for, I think, $370 a bottle. So yay! So that goes back into that was for the Booster Club. FFA alumni will sell the rest, I believe, and that goes back into other programs to go.
Well, those grapes have been a long time coming. I mean, it takes a long time to get the vines ready to bear fruit.
And that's all on Kin Wright. Our teacher Nicole Spearman works on that, and in partnership with Kin Wright Vineyards and his vineyard manager Mark Gould have put a lot of work into making that happen. Our kids are out there. They just got done trimming out there, trimming up all the grapes, and then we have interns that work in the summer that are also sponsored by Kin, and so that's been a wonderful partnership.
Right in the heart of wine country, we've got this great program that just is incredible.
It's exciting, but the Career Academy in general is a different way to think about education. Instead of we bill it as not an alternative program, but it's a program that's a school within a school that's aimed at kids who are interested in a technical career. So if you'd like to go out right out of school and either jump into the workforce, or you'd like to go to a community college or even to an engineering school, something like that, it's a good approach for you. We have 4 academic classes that are built into it that are focused on getting kids to that technical standpoint. For instance, Rachel Henry, one of our senior English teachers, teaches a technical writing course. And students, instead of taking regular senior English, take technical writing. They do their senior project through that course, and they learn how to write really for business and for industry. It's a little bit different look to it. A lot of the same skills, a lot of the same material, different focus. We've also got science on that, math on that. These are with our regular academic teachers. And now 2 of our Career Academy teachers, a science and math teacher, have come together to do a rocketry course.
Rockets.
Oh, rockets. We're really excited about
How
this
did
one.
rockets? Who thought of? We got to do rockets.
Well, this comes from our math teacher, Jordan Slavish, who is also our after-school drone teacher. He teaches
okay.
he teaches
From
our
drones to rockets? I can
drones
see
to
that.
rockets.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's working on that. He's been working with Innovate Oregon to explore agile learning in education. It's this is what they use for software development, agile design, and so we're applying it as an education model in our after-school program. It's basically a problem-based thing where the kids have a problem and they see what they have to do. They figure out what they have to do, then they go back and they learn the skills to actually solve the problem. It's kind of how that works, right?
Rockets. We're gonna.
Oh, back to the rockets.
Do we
right.
get on campus? You're going to send them up?
Well, eventually, yeah.
Okay.
Well, we might have to clear out an area or something, but these aren't like the rockets that you do in Cub Scouts or something like that. The little stuff. These are rockets that are meant to carry a 1-pound payload 1 kilometer in the air. This is a program that we pulled out of Texas, and it's a neat deal. That Texas program, it actually has 3 levels. Down in Texas, when they hit their 3rd level, they have to go out to White Sands Missile Base and do their testing out there. And it'll be quite a few years before we're to that point. But the idea is we'd eventually like to get to the point where our students are designing, they're creating rockets, they're learning how to work through that and learning all the science around that.
Now, you've had some design take place around the drone program.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, the drone program, like I said, it's an after-school program, and that's something we're matching with Innovate Oregon. It's a program that's in partnership with a local farmer. We had a local farmer come to us and say, hey, you know what, I buy aerial photographs from commercial businesses that give me pictures of my fields in near-infrared spectrum. And with that information, I'm able to put it into my sprayer, run it out onto the fields, and put the proper application of spray in the right location based on the growth rates. And they see this from the infrared. So he said to us, could you build us a drone? Could you build me a drone that does the same thing? And so we went, well, we'll give it a shot. And so this after-school program formed out of this. We have an Intel engineer who is one of our fathers of one of the kids involved, and so he's kind of our technical expertise. He builds drones on the side for his own fun. So the kids have built this drone themselves from scratch. It'll carry 13 pounds. It's
Wow.
got this super duper camera on it that we got a super special deal there. So it's worth like $7,000. And the kids are mounting. And by spring, we will be able to go out and do what this farmer needs us to do. We take this drone out to the field, you put it down, you press a button, it takes off, flies a pattern, comes back, dumps the information into a program. We process it, give it to the farmer. He can stick it in his sprayer within an hour, and he's out and running.
Now-
And so it's really, really fun. It's really, really fun. So,
You're flying thousands of dollars around, and I understand that the kids developed a guard for the drone.
a garden?
The thing that bolts on?
Oh, I was just talking about, parts. So the kids build parts, right?
Okay.
So they're coming through and they're designing stuff for that. We have a CNC router that we got as part of our CTE revitalization grant, which is actually what's funding the Career Academy. And so the students are, they're deciding what they need to build, and they're creating it in CAD, and then they're taking it down to the router, and they first make it out of wood, and then once they've got it in a new place, they're making it out of carbon fiber. And so they're building their own parts as they're going on this instead of having to order it. But it's all about design, and it's all about working through it. It's really neat.
So part of this was a crash guard. Did they bolt it onto the drone?
That was something for mounting a thing called a gimbal,
Okay.
which is the idea. It's like a little arm that keeps the camera level.
Oh,
if
okay.
If the drone shifts, so it was just a mounting thing. But
Yeah.
the kids had to design it. They had to put through it. It has like rubber mounting balls on it for vibration, that kind of stuff. It's fun.
Real deal design and
It
manufacturing and put it into
is.
use.
You've got 16-year-old kids putting this together. They're learning how to fly them. They're learning how to program. They're learning how to design and build them. It's pretty fantastic. It's pretty fantastic.
Well-
And the thing is they don't start with any basic knowledge. They get a little bit of help, and they come with the idea of, here's what we have to do. Let's figure out how to get it done. It's pretty amazing.
We could talk a lot more about the high school, I know. It's just a lot of great things going on.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happening.
Let's go down to the middle school. I understand you have a principal there that is just really applying some great leadership skills. Tell us about that. What's his name?
So you're talking about Michael Fisher.
Yeah.
Michael is a wonder. He's really done a great job of I would just say he's a great catalyst for his staff for doing good work. They're also a proficiency-based school down there. They've eliminated grades altogether. What we look at down there is we have everything on a program called Jump Rope, and we have all the standards kids are supposed to learn, and they get a 1 through 4 score on how they're doing on that standard. And the kids track it, the teachers track it, and we work through it. So it's a very different model than people are used to in terms of assessment. But it gives kids assessment not on did you get your homework done, it gives them a score on, okay, this is the skill you need to know, how are you doing on learning? So Michael has done a great job of really bringing his staff together to think about these problems. He's done a good job of bringing in experts, but then when his staff builds the expertise that's even beyond the experts we bring in, then they start teaching each other.
Working together.
Oh, yeah, working together. We have one of our teachers who developed a writing program, Mike Bueller, based off Lucy Calkins, which is kind of a standard writing program out there. He took it, he's modified it to work with Chromebooks. And so the students all write on Chromebooks, and they're sharing their documents with each other. They're editing their own documents. They have a set of standards that they grade their own documents over. The teacher's able to look at what they're writing, give them some feedback. And then as the kids are writing and giving each other feedback, he's calling them in one-on-one and talking to them about it. And then he's developed that program, and now that has spread from, he started that in the 5th grade, and now he's in the 6th grade now, but it's spread to 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And so that whole team of teachers is teaching writing the same way. The students are learning it the same way. And as they're starting to come out, their level of proficiency in writing is amazing.
Now, standardized testing, is this showing good results? With
Yeah,
this
yeah.
program?
Our middle school last year in terms of standardized testing was in the top 10% of the state.
Let's say that again.
The top 10% of the state.
Yamhill-Carlton Middle School.
Yamhill-Carlton Middle School. And those kids were doing great. And there's more than, I mean, I can point to 20 different teachers in that building.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not 20, but many teachers we have in there, and all of them are doing parts that are fantastic. All of them are adding to that. You know, that is the victory of that whole staff coming together, really sharing, really working, and getting kids to buy into the models that they're putting together. It's exciting.
The model, I'm back up about 5 minutes. You said no grades.
Yeah.
1 through 4 thing. So the kids come home from school and mom wants to know, how you doing? Let me see your report card.
Well,
tell me how that works.
What they do is they go on to a program called Jump Rope. It's online.
Okay.
Right. And it's an interesting program. You go onto it, and it has for a class all the standards the students are supposed to know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then so it gives them a 1 through 4 grade, and it usually has a color. You know what color they're at. If they're at a 2, it's a yellow, and if they're at a 3, it's a green, or that kind of thing. And then they can click on it, and it opens up the substandards, and they can see how they're doing on the substandards and how they happen to have done on a particular assignment that was related to that standard. And so as a parent, you can really drill down into what your student is doing and how they're doing it, and get very specific information. But then the thing, it's not as, oh, I didn't turn this homework in on time. It's, okay, I'm learning this particular thing, and I need to improve in this set of skills.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, it's neat.
That's innovative stuff. I just
It
want
really is,
to
yeah.
pause and say congratulations, Charan. You've been here, 5 years?
This is my 5th year, yeah.
And you are an agent of change for improvement. Sometimes that's not easy.
Not always, no.
And
Pretty difficult.
you have, from what we're hearing, it's just a lot of success, these changes that
Well,
you've been championing.
There's a lot of success. There's bumps along the way. Not everybody likes change, and not everybody likes what we're up to all the time. I think generally it's going well. I think that it's 2 steps forward, half a step back, and another step forward, and that kind of thing. But the progress is going in the right direction. Our kids are benefiting from it, and overall, we're starting to produce some kids that are very skilled.
Let's go down to the elementary school.
Sure.
I just heard about this program called the Good Behavior Game.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a lecture over at ICE Auditorium. These professors, doctors came in and talked about this program, and they were tooting the horn of Yamhill-Carlton that it's been adopted there in Willamina, but 11 teachers are being trained. Tell us about that.
So I really should bring an expert in about the Good Behavior Game. My principal, Lauren
Well,
Burr.
maybe I will.
Oh, yeah, it'd be good. My principal, Lauren Berg, is really done well with it, and her staff as well with it. I know a little about it, so I'll tell you what I know, but I'm hardly an expert in it. So the Good Behavior Game is a research-based, really kind of behavior modification system, if you will. It's had 50 studies on it, and it shows improvement in students' behavior, their own self-regulated behavior over time, not just when they're in class, but as they move into adulthood. Students that work through this, the effects are long-lasting, and kids, they have lower absenteeism, they have better graduation grades, they just go.
Self-regulation are those skills that prove more effective in a successful life than even academic skills.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
These are the things that make your life work or not.
Right. And the basic idea is that kids play games on good behavior. Right, and so the teacher will set a certain time, and during that time period, they'll be monitoring for how many spleams they get, is what they call it. They don't call it, you've done something bad. If you're off task, if you're doing something you shouldn't, you get a spleam.
Or criticizing someone else.
Or, yeah, all kinds of things, right?
Yeah.
And so the teacher kind of monitors that, and if they don't have any spleams when they're done, they get a little reward and stuff. And the kids have cards where they write out things that they're thankful for and send that to people and that kind of stuff. So it's kind of the idea of training folks how to behave in a certain situation, emphasizing the good, and then not labeling it, And so we're excited about it. We don't have any research on it yet in terms of how we're doing with it or how
with this district, but
not with our district,
widely.
but we know that it works.
Yeah,
right?
widely it's been well tested.
Right, but it's nice. It's different than PBIS, which we still use, but it's not strictly based on the carrot and the stick approach where you're rewarding good stuff and trying to minimize the bad stuff, if you will. But it's more about training. How do you look at a situation? How do you behave? How do you think about it? So it's got a little bit different emphasis to it. We're excited about it. So far, it's good. It's not invasive in the kids. It doesn't mess with people's values in any way. It's not somehow I don't know, it's not about saving the planet or something. It's just about how do you behave and how do you be successful in this situation. Yeah.
All right. Well, we've been through the 3 schools, maybe just a few of the highlights.
Just a few, yeah.
Let's get to.
There's a lot more to talk about.
Let's get to what I think a lot of people are very aware of, that Yamhill-Carlton passed a bond measure.
We did.
And there's been a lot of activity since then.
There has been.
Getting ready to put that bond money to good use. Can you tell us about what's going on there?
Well,
Where to start?
Well, we've been working on design over the last, basically since June, but since September. We've hired an architect. We've hired a project manager, Mike Marino. O Design out of Portland is our architect, and they're hooked up with Leland Gray out of Utah, who's kind of our dome guy. And then
domes. Yeah, not everybody knows.
Oh, about the domes.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about the domes.
Okay.
But so we have this great crew of people that are working on stuff. Our design team has been working on it. Our citizens oversight group has been kind of looking at things as well. But our design team has been kind of marching down and getting things ready to go on this. We've got some sketches to kind of show you where we're at so far. These are by no means final.
Okay.
It's just where we're at right now.
You have a committee. You have some citizens committees.
Oh, we do. Yeah.
That are giving input and oversight.
It's oversight, financial oversight, design oversight a little bit, and a little bit, not a lot of design oversight, but more looking at things that could be going wrong, and trying to make sure that we're catching things.
Yeah.
Our contracts, right? The Citizens Oversight Committee, for instance, hired the architect, they hired the project manager, and they hired the general contractor. They're working through that. So
You brought some pictures with you.
we did, yeah.
Let's pull up one of those, Paul, if you can. The first one. What do we have?
Do they have it up there?
The architect has given you drawings.
Right, drawings and designs on this. These are based on work that they're doing. I mean, it's all, we've got different plans.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, here you go, yeah.
Wow, the future of Yamhill-Carlton High School.
Well, we certainly hope so. For those of you who haven't been to Yamhill-Carlton High School, this is kind of a little bit of an aerial view. The building to the right there is our current gymnasium, our current high school.
So that's the back of it. So
That's the back of the
what's
high
off
school.
the screen is facing Main Street there.
Right. And then
Maple.
the building in the far back is our intermediate school.
That exists,
And
okay.
And the building to the left there, the one with the gables, is our cafeteria.
Mm-hmm.
So those two domes are new buildings.
Yeah.
And those two domes.
They definitely aren't there now.
Oh, no, they're not there now. And all that interior site work in terms of the pathways aren't there now. This will kind of connect the campus together. So when you're moving in between the various buildings, it'll be a good path to get there. And
It's beautiful. All right, let's go. Let's
that
go to the
neat?
next slide. We'll learn more about. Okay, that's looking down on it.
Right, this is kind of a landscape plan, but again, this is pretty general. It's not final by any means. You can see that the gymnasium is located between our old gymnasium and the cafeteria behind the high school. That gymnasium is about 20,000 square feet.
So the front of the school's down at the bottom of the screen.
Yep. No, that's the intermediate school.
Oh, that's the
at the
intermediate
bottom.
school. Okay.
And then the high school's to the left, that sort of airplane-shaped thing, or
That's right.
bird-shaped thing.
Okay,
there, yeah.
on the left side there. Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Now that the building in between the high school and the intermediate school, that dome there,
Mm-hmm.
that is a science career tech ed building.
Wow.
And we're very excited about that.
We got some slides of that, don't
You
we?
do. You have
Let's see what's
you
next.
have there you go. So that science building is interesting. It serves both the middle school and the high school. Those three buildings on the top of there those
classrooms.
three classrooms are all science classrooms. The two on the left are high school, and the one on the right is intermediate school or middle school. They share a common prep space, so they can all share equipment, chemical storage, expensive equipment, that kind of thing. They all can use in there. It's kind of neat. The bottom ones, the two buildings, the two big rooms on the bottom,
Yeah.
is a wood shop and a metal shop.
Oh my gosh.
The one to the far left is our CAD room, computer-aided drafting and design. It's got our 3D printing in it, our laser cutting, our vinyl cutting, and various things we're doing with that. And then the one to the right is a STEM classroom focused at the intermediate school.
Science, technology,
Engineering and math. Yeah,
STEM.
and the STEM is it's kind of a general problem-solving class we do with the kids at that level. STEM class has been great for the intermediate school, but it's how do you build things, how do you solve problems, how do you work through kind of a hypothesis of what would work, how do I shoot this marble an extra 20 feet or whatever. They got various different kinds of projects they do. Anyway, it's an exciting building. What I like about this one is it puts all my teachers who teach technical subjects under one roof. And the opportunity for them to share ideas, to share equipment. I expect to see my science teachers going down into the metal shop and using equipment, and I expect my metal shop teacher to go and talk to the science folks about what are the physics of things we're trying to do, and let's talk about how that would work. And I hope to see a nice blending of ideas happening in that building. So I see this building as being the future of education at Yamhill-Carlton. So I'm really jazzed about this one. This is fun.
What a great group of technology you have under one domed roof. And we'll talk more about the dome technology
Sure.
and construction, but let's see what's
Now,
next.
before you go,
go back,
pop
Paul, if
up
you
there.
can.
You see that big hallway in the middle?
Yes.
Okay, so flip to the next one there. Here's a picture of a hallway. Now, this is an artist's
Okay.
conception. You're going to see two different versions of what the decorations would look like inside of it. And they've designed this, since it's a hallway anyway, they've widened the hallway a little bit to create sort of a flexible learning space. So, for instance, let's say the woodshop teacher really needs to do a quick lecture with folks. He can pull everybody out, sit them on that little set of bleachers to the left, talk to them about something right on the whiteboard. Or if we wanted to do, I don't know, some sort of flexible thing. Good place for displays, whatever. It's built to be this kind of creative space that can be used. It's not always scheduled by a classroom. It can be used for various teachers at various things, or just
And-
kind of letting our imagination go on that.
Oh, there's another.
there's
decor.
another idea. That one's
So
kind of a wood
during
look to it.
passing period, it's a hallway, but
Yeah.
when class is going, hey, it's useful as a classroom.
That's the idea. Yeah.
Okay.
Should be neat.
All right, what's next?
So this is a diagram of the gymnasium. It's a domed structure as well, full regular-sized court for practice. The bleachers will pull off, and we have a curtain that's going to drop down, so it'll turn into two practice spaces, which will be really nice. We're very short on practice space.
Now, the existing gym will stay.
Existing gym stays as an
Wow.
alternative gym.
So the kids won't have to come at 6 in the morning and stay till 9 o'clock at night.
Well, I certainly
to
hope
get,
not. But
to get practice
people
time
keep,
anymore.
people keep manufacturing new teams, so. But it'll be
Lot
two,
more-
it'll be
lot
two
more
more. It'll be
participation.
two more practice spaces, which
Okay.
will be great, and a
Wow.
really nice game space. This will sit Somewhere in the neighborhood of 800 to 1,000 people. So it's a pretty big space. It's got 4 locker rooms in it, two men's and 2 women's, and we're able to divide those in half for games. So like for visiting games, the men can go to, like your visiting basketball game, they can both be in the men's area, and the women's, they can still use their side.
What a concept.
It's an
Isn't
idea.
that great?
It's an
Instead
idea.
of the guys going in, the visiting team going in the girls' locker room.
It'll be nice for people. And we're placing this, we're placing this in a spot that the locker rooms will feed the field sports well as well. It's also got a weight room on the far right side is a 1,700 square foot weight room, and we're pretty excited about that. So yeah, front's the lobby. It's going to be a neat structure.
Well, I can't wait. Give us a completion.
We are
hopeful.
scheduled to be done with this project with both domes and have them ready to go for the 18-19 school year.
Okay.
So next year will be a year of construction. All of next year will be construction.
That's going to be a challenge for you to
It'll be something.
keep the classrooms
For sure.
going, and you're going to be tearing some things down.
Yep, demolition starts, actually, we're going to tear a couple things down during spring break, and then demolition after that, really kind of as we're starting to go into May. I'm going to try and keep kids out, but we're clearing out classrooms and relocating people all over the place. It's going to be a little inconvenient for a year, no doubt about that. This is a mock-up of what the gymnasium would look like on the inside. Despite this being dome, it's a very simple structure. The design's simple, but it'll be clean, and it'll really serve the community well. Oh, and this one too it's earthquake safe, and so we're putting an alternative generator on this as well. And we mean this, or a generator, and we mean this to be a space that people can shelter in if there's a natural disaster. So
Yeah, maybe we'll get to the construction. Do we have one of those? Let's see what's next, Paul. Oh, there we go.
So this is a cross section of how the construction works on a dome, and it's a different kind of building. It kind of builds from the outside in. So you've got the footing on the bottom, and then they lay up a concrete block wall, and they do a big circle. They do it in a big circle, and then they take it and they mount a polyurethane balloon, or it's an airform thing on this, and they inflate it. And the whole thing blows up in like half an hour. So when you're going to go home and, you're driving through Yamhill and in the morning you look and you see kind of this wall out there, and you come back, and then in the afternoon there's going to be a big dome out there.
And that's
So
what the roof's going to be. The shape of the roof will suddenly appear.
it will be that dome.
when they inflate
Right,
that balloon.
right. But then after that, they come through and they spray it with a polyurethane foam that does 2 things. It stiffens the whole thing. It also acts as a very thick layer of insulation. And then they come underneath that and they tie it steel, a lot of steel, 1 foot on center, steel all the way from the bottom all the way up to the top of the crest of the thing. And then they come in and they gunite it, which is a kind of concrete that you spray. And they use more or less what looks like a giant concrete sprinkler. And they go round and round and round and round and round. They spray and they spray and they spray.
Build
and
it
they
up.
spray. And they build it up. It ends up being about 6 inches on the bottom, up to about 3 to 4 inches on the top. And when the whole thing dries together, it's one solid piece.
There's no joints to come apart.
Right. And so in theory, the way it works is during a big earthquake, the way buildings collapse in an earthquake is they break on hinge points, right?
Corners.
So top of the wall, that kind of stuff. This doesn't have any hinge points. And so it tends to float in an earthquake, as waves come through. It tends to float on top of it. Not that there won't be damage inside or things, falling around and stuff, but the structure itself should hold together and then be a place that people can shelter in.
Wow.
So.
And this construction is very expensive.
That?
Yeah.
No, actually, it's about 2/3 the cost of normal construction. That's what brought us to it originally.
Yeah.
It was the price point. It's new for Oregon. A lot of our contractors, they're a little tentative about it. They're learning about it. You see a lot of these things in Texas through Oklahoma.
Well, you went down to Texas and visited.
I
one
did. I
and
went and
talked to
looked. I did. I went and talked to a superintendent down there, and they just love it. They just thought it was the greatest structure in the world. I talked to their maintenance guy. I said, okay, I traveled all this way. What's wrong with this thing?
Yeah.
And he said, there's nothing. He said, it just works wonderfully. It's hard to get cobwebs off the dome. He said that. Just scrape them around. But they insulate well. They use it as their tornado shelter in that community. Those people can run in if there's a tornado and that kind of thing, and they're pretty tough. So we're excited about it, really. It should serve the community well. Both of those domes, take care of them. I mean, they should last 50, 75 years. It's concrete and steel. It shouldn't go anywhere for a long time.
Now, there's some other new construction besides. besides
Well,
that?
there's not new construction, there's all the remodeling going
Okay.
on. This summer, our elementary school will get a facelift. So its siding will get redone, it's gonna get new heating systems, it's gonna get a new, because our boilers are just shot. So it's gonna get a new electric heating systems. We're gonna replace the roof, we're gonna repaint the walls, we're gonna replace the flooring, we're gonna clean it up in general and make it sound. But it doesn't get any new square footage.
Charan, we've run out of time.
Oh.
We've been talking straight. We are maybe halfway through the great things you're doing in Yamhill-Carlton.
Well, I'd say the great
grateful.
things that our team is doing in Yamhill-Carlton.
Very good,
There's some
very
good
good.
people out there.
Thanks for being here.
You bet. Thanks again.